What's up, everybody? Welcome back. It's a lovely day. Hey, most days it is, right? I'll take it. Anyways, you can see from the title, it's kind of a strange video today, but this shit happened to me on guard. I'll get all into it, man. Anyways, guys, it's good to be back. It's good to talk to you. Busy life. Can't make as many videos as we like, but whatever. Guys, please like, comment, subscribe. Get back with me. Let me know your thoughts and comments. Take care. Okay, so as you can see from the title, kind of a sensitive subject for the guy it happened to. Give you a little backstory. I'm not giving you his name, nothing like that. This dude was not even in my unit, okay, when I was in the military, all right? We had, nasty hair gel. Anyways, I had gotten into some trouble in Iraq, okay? Stupid stuff, disrespecting an NCO, something petty, but like my platoon sergeant was like, dude, you're not getting Article 15 for this. You're probably gonna have to pull some bullshit guard duty or something. Whatever. Okay, no worries. Like, been in trouble before, you know. I wasn't trying to get any paperwork on it or anything, but I ended up having to do night guard in Iraq. Night guards suck booty hole. Usually started at midnight and it went till 8 in the morning. And it'll be you and another guy or you and a couple guys or whatever it was. And you pretty much sit on a machine gun and look over a gate or look over a field or look over whatever. I mean, but that's the goal, is that, you know, you're pulling security. And it sucked because a lot of it is just watching paint dry, just looking at the wall, or like trying to stay awake, or reading a book, or I don't know, anything. Like, it's just boring as shit, man. But I got to my first day of guard duty and I met this guy. Okay, call him Lewis. All right, let's call that. And I call him Lewis because he was from out west, like in the Washington State area. Don't worry, it's a big state. We're not really putting it out there, but the dude was from a very, very small town. So let's get right into this. So once I meet this guy, seemed like a cool dude. He had gotten in some trouble with something. I don't know what happened, but they put his ass on guard duty too. So whatever. Young guy, just like me. And we're talking, and let me tell you something about guard duty. You're going to find out a whole lot about another human being while you are sitting there just bored out of your minds. You're going to find out so much about someone. And God help you if they're not talkative, man, because that shit sucks even worse. Because it's like, this dude was actually pretty talkative and a cool guy. And yeah, anyways, so dude asked me, you know, where you from? And, you know, I tell him from the East Coast and blah blah blah. And, you know, he tells me, he's like, yeah, I'm from a small town in Washington State. And I'm asking him, like, well, how small of a town? He's like, not big at all, man. Like, I mean, we had a population of like maybe a couple thousand. I was like, ooh, damn, I never lived in a place like that, you know. Like, he's like, yeah, it's really small. Not like everybody knows each other, but very kind of in a way. People, you know. I was like, okay, whatever, you know. So we're chatting it up, you know, talking sports, skateboarding, shit that we were into, you know, whatever. Some of the crazy shit I used to do, which y'all have seen videos about. Just stuff that, you know, before the military and things like that. So we're chatting it up, and we've been on guard duty for a couple days now, like probably 2 days. We've talked a whole lot, and dude's really cool. Like him. He's a good guy. And he asked me, he was like, hey man, so why'd you join the Army, man? You know, why'd you join the Army? And I was honest. I was like, look, man, I was going down a really bad road in life. I needed it. You know, it was probably the best thing for me, is to actually join the military. And it's what I needed, you know. It's what I needed in my life. And he's like, okay, that's cool. That's what's up. I was like, all right. So, of course, I give him the rebuttal, you know. I was like, so why'd you join the Army, you know? And dude kind of like looked at me and smiled. He was like, man, you wouldn't believe me. And I was like, man, you can try my ass, dude. I said, look, it's not like we got anything else going on. And so, you want to talk about it, we can talk about it. He's like, man, I never really told too many people about this. I'm kind of looking at this dude. I thought he was just, you know, bullshitting or something, man. But Dude, dead ass came out there. I said, man, come on, man, why'd you join the army? Dude just looked at me and was like, I came home from school one day. My dad was having sex with a dude in the kitchen. And I just looked at him. I was like, what? What? Man, get out of here with that shit, dude. That made you join the army? And like, dude dead ass looked at me. He was all serious and shit. He's like, yeah, man. Yup. So I was like, hold up, dude. We got plenty of time, man. You wanna elaborate on this at all? If you don't want to talk about it, man, that's cool, man. I'll leave that shit there. But he gets into it. Let's go. So I'm kind of like wide-eyed, like, you know, like getting ready for what this dude's about to say. He goes into the story. He was like, man, I was 17. I was a senior in high school. I turned 18. I was supposed to turn 18 in like, I don't know, 2 months. I said, okay, that's what's up. He said, you know, I'll give you a little background on me. He's like, I got a mom, I got a dad, married. I'm the oldest of 3 kids. I got a sister, she's a couple years younger than me. And I got a you know, like a very, very younger sibling that's much younger, like super younger, like crawling around younger, you know. I was like, okay. I'm intrigued. I'm like, okay, you know, what's going on with this? Like, this dude's really telling me this. I was like, all right. He said, man, I was supposed to graduate high school in like, I don't know, a month. I was like, oh, okay. He was like, I was pretty much done. I was like, all right, you know. He said, I don't know if you guys got this thing where y'all are from, but like we got this thing. It's called Senior Hook Day. I was like, oh shit, yeah, Senior Hook Day. We had that. If y'all don't know what that is, it's a kind of a universal thing. Some places do it. It's like where all the seniors or whoever, they decide to skip school that day or whatever it is. I was like, yeah, I remember doing that shit. I did that. I think we left and went and got high at some park or some shit or whatever. Like, it was whatever. He's like, yeah. He's like, so Senior Hook Day. I was like, okay. He's like, man, so, you know, that morning I had acted like I was going to school, had my books and everything, and he drove. He's like, I got my car, you know, I went to school, or I pretended to go to school, so my parents hadn't left for work yet or anything. He said his parents would always leave after, so they'd make sure he's up for school and everything, and then whatever. He's like, man, I drove around for a little bit, realized my parents weren't at work anymore. Realized my parents had went to work. It's like, okay. So, goes back home. He's like, man, some of my other friends, they weren't doing anything till later, so I went back home. Figured I'd hang out there for a while, whatever, it's Senior Hook Day. So I was like, okay, that's what's up. Dude straight up said he pulled into his house. And he said he parked on the street and his parents parked in the garage. So like he didn't see any cars there. Okay? Because like one car, he said his mom would park in the garage and like his dad would park wherever. But like he said he didn't see any cars there. He figured, you know, they had went to work because that's what they do. Said he opens the door to the house. Said he walks in and he hears some kind of noise, but he thought that like somebody had left the TV on or something happened or whatever it is. So, you know, he throws his bag down, walks around like the dining area, and hears some more noise, like some more commotion, and he walks into the kitchen. Dead ass, this dude tells me, he said, I turned that corner and there was my dad and some guy I've never seen before, ever in my life, ever. And my dad has his legs up in the air, and this dude is going to town on his dad. Like, you know what's up. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, what? He said, yeah. I'm like, what the fuck? That happened? I said, man, what did you do? what did you do when you, he was like, well, man, I was in shock, man. I turned the corner. He said, you know, and like, he said, my dad didn't see me, but like the guy that was putting the work in, he saw me. And so like, he kind of like pushed his dad away and was like, hey. And he said his dad like turned around and was like, oh, like, you know, all flustered and confused. He was like, man, I didn't know what the fuck to do. He's like, dude, I just ran out of the house. He's like, I just took off, and I just went out the front door, ran into my car, sat in my car, and he said, I just peeled off, man. I just peeled off and drove away. I didn't even know where to go. I didn't know what to do. He's like, I had so many emotions. This dude really started opening up at this point. I'm thinking, ain't no way this dude's lying about this shit, man. Ain't no way, bro, this dude's lying about this shit. So yeah, straight up, he said he just drove to his friend's house. He just immediately drove to his friend's house. That's where it starts getting a little bit of thick here, okay? So let's get into it. So he said he gets to his friend's house. He parks, sits in his car, crying. He said every emotion he could possibly feel. Hurt, embarrassed, shocked. I mean, you imagine seeing some shit with your dad like that. You know, your dad who is married to your mom and never knew any kind of shit like this or anything. He said he's sitting there, man, and he's shaking and he's just like, now I'm looking at this guy. I'm like, oh my shit, man, this is some shit. And he was like, man, I didn't know what the fuck to do, man. I was flipping out. And dude's telling me the story, and he started to like, I could see him kind of tensing up and shit. Dude was serious, man. This shit happened to this guy. And I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, so, you know, I went in, and this is in the early stages of like cell phone, well, not early, but early 2000s. So like, he had a cell phone and stuff, but it's not like what cell phones are today and everything. So like, he said like his dad was trying to call him and stuff, and he was just like denying the call, like not picking it up, like, okay. So say he goes in his friend's house, and he tells his friend, he was like, look, man, I don't know what just happened. He's like, I can't go home. I don't feel comfortable going home. This shit is crazy. I don't know what to do. And you know, his friend sees he's upset. So he's like, look, man. And his mom was there, right? His mom was there. And he tells her, he's like, I don't know what to tell. And she's listening to the story like, he's like, I can't go home. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And she could see he's really upset, and he's all kinds of in his emotions and feelings and stuff, which you should be. I mean, that's some traumatic shit right there. And she's like, look, you don't have to go anywhere, okay? Like, you don't have to go anywhere. Whatever you think you should do with this, whatever. And you know, she's like, are you gonna tell your mom? Are you gonna, I think at first she didn't think he was being honest, but like once she saw how upset he was, it was pretty clear this shit happened. He's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, you know, my sister, my, you know, blah blah. And I'm like, and I could understand, dude's upset. So being the cool woman she was, the woman his friend's mom, she was like, you can stay here as long as you want. Stay here as long as you want. If you want me to talk to your mom and dad for you, I will. Like, I don't know what to say. She's like, but you have to tell, I think you have to tell your mother about this. And like, you know, he's like, man, I was crying. And you see, I mean, face it. I mean, it's traumatic shit. So he said his friend's dad had gotten home, and they tell him the story, and his dad's just like kind of blown away. So both of his friend's parents agreed, you don't have to go home. You don't have to go home. He said, you're still a minor technically, so I don't really know how that flies, but like, if you want to stay here, you can stay here. You are more than welcome to. You can stay at our home. So they're like, but you got to tell your mother about this. Okay, they're going to wonder why you're not coming home or why you're not at home. So he stays there that day. He's telling me this, and he's like, he said, I have my friend's mom call my mom and tell her to come over. and that I needed to talk. And he said that was probably the hardest thing for him, is that his mom showed up and didn't really know what was going on or anything. It just said, hey, look, you know, you need to come talk to, you know, your son. He's got something he needs to tell you, and blah blah blah. So he said, he said, man, it was probably the most embarrassing thing in my life. I had to tell my mom this. He said my mom's jaw was just like the whole time, like, I get it. And of course his mom was like, you're being 100% serious about this. Like, this happened. He's like, I swear to God, this happened. Like, I swear on everything in my life, this happened. And she was like, I'm going to go home and talk to your father. Okay? And I will call you if you don't want to talk to him. And he's like, I don't want to talk to Dad. I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to talk to anything about him. I don't want to. She was like, you don't have to talk to your father. It's okay. You can talk to me. Okay? Small town, like I said, or small whatever he lived in. She was like, please don't tell anybody about this. Okay? I get it. You told your friend's parents and your friend. Understand that. She's like, please don't tell your sister about this. Don't tell anybody at school. Don't tell anybody about this. Let me talk to your father. Okay. Here I go. So, a couple hours go by. He gets a call from his mom. And she was like, look, you know, I appreciate you telling me this. We want you to come home. We can talk about this. He's like, I'm not coming home. I'm not going in that house. She's like, well, I've already talked to your friend's parents. They said you can stay there. If you really do not feel comfortable being here, we understand. She said, I understand. I understand. But I know all your clothes are here and everything. He's like, look, can you just pack me a bag? Can you just pack me this, and this? Like, give me some clothes and everything. Or he's like, I can come over when Dad's not there, and I come get some stuff. And she's like, how about this? I'm gonna tell your father he's got to leave for a little bit. She's like, because you have to realize this is kind of a shock to me as well. He admitted to me, yes, this happened, and this had been apparently something that had been going on for a while. So you want to come over and pack some bags? You can. He's like, I'll come over, but he cannot be there. He can't be there. She's like, trust me, he is not here. Like, he's definitely not here. I can imagine that too. So she had packed some of his stuff. He goes over and gets what he needs. And his sister at that point was like, what are you doing? What are you packing a bag for? She had gotten home from school and stuff. He was like, what are you packing a bag for? What are you doing? Why are you leaving? But she's also, when I said she was a little bit younger, she's in high school. So, you know, he's 17. I think she's like 15 or 14 or something. And she's like, what's going on? You know, and he's like, look, I'll talk to you about it another time. You know, I got some stuff going on right now. So he said all that night when he goes back to his friend's house, she's calling. He tells her, he's like, look, you know, he tells her the whole story, and she's like, what? You know, like really confused and everything. And she mentions to him that she had seen not something similar, but something along those lines. Like, she had used her dad's computer one day for something, and like she had seen some weird stuff on there. Like, I don't know what it was, but something that kind of led on to him maybe being into dudes or whatever. So he was like, look, you can't tell anybody about this. You can't tell anybody about this. Like, promise me you don't tell anybody about this. Like, just promise me. And she was like, okay, I won't. What's that girl do the next day? She goes to high school and she tells her best friend about it. What's her best friend do? You know what high school is. By the end of that week, everybody and their brother knew about this. So not only is he dealing with the traumatic shit from seeing his dad getting straight teed off on, and his parents' marriage pretty much breaking up in front of him, now he gets to go to school and be ridiculed, and people calling him, you know, all these names, and oh, your fag dad and shit like that. Like, he said it fucked him up. He wanted nothing more in the world than to get away from that situation. And I believe him, and I could understand why. He said he lived at his parents' house, graduated, His parents had separated at that point, so some time had elapsed. He turned 18 a month later, said he went to a recruiter. Couldn't believe it. I heard this story and I was like, it's almost like some shit that like you say, this didn't happen. This isn't real. Like it's not, this didn't happen like this. Dude, I was talking to him. I was like, so whatever happened, man? He's like, well, my dad and my mom divorced, and he ended up, I guess, getting with that guy, and that didn't last long. He said that only lasted like a couple months. He said, but yeah, he's like, even throughout the years, man, I really don't talk to my dad that much. I do every now and then. He's like, man, I'm probably gonna ride this army shit out forever. He's like, I can't go back home. I was like, man, I don't know, man. That shit's kind of probably dead by now. He was like, nah, dude. He was like, man, that was probably the worst 2 months of my life, waiting to leave that place. You know, he's like, it was terrible. I was speechless. Hey, what can I say? The stories you hear, the people that you meet, not even just in the military, but in life in general. Guys, that's what I got for you today. I still kind of talk to this guy vaguely through Facebook and shit like that. He's a cool dude, still a cool guy. He's actually married now and doing okay and whatever it is. But like, guys, that's what it is. Hey man, thank you guys for listening. Like always, please like, comment, subscribe. Love y'all.